Hey all, Satish here. Today let's start with timers. I'll show you how to configure timer. Again, there will be three versions of it. One is the basic microcontroller which we are able to simulate in Proteus. Here there is no code generator. We have to manually go through the data sheet and configure it. The second will be with the code generator, that is the MCC, and the third one will be using Renesas. So now let's open the data sheet. So this has I think this has only one timer. So now let's understand what is a timer. So in this case it's an 8-bit timer. So basically what it means is, so if you see, this is a timer module. So this is a 8-bit counter. So it can count from 0 to 255, and after 255 it will roll over to 0, and when it rolls over it will generate an interrupt. So, and there will be a clock given to it. So there will be a clock. You have to select the clock, and this will be given to it. It will go through a module. I'll tell you what these modules are. So, and based on the clock cycle, this will start incrementing from 0 to 255, and after 255 it rolls over and becomes 0. During this time it will generate an interrupt flag. So this is the basic of a timer. So in case of a timer, what happens? This pulses comes from the clock, means it is continuous. So only difference between a timer, so this is a timer. In a counter, what happens is it will count the number of pulses. It is the same thing. This clock will not happen from a system clock or an external clock. It will happen from an external pin. So let's assume you are calculating speed of something which is rotating. So you will get one pulse. So either in the rising edge or in the falling edge, this will increment. So that is the difference. In case of timer, what happens is it is driven from a continuous clock, that is a system clock. In case of counter, it is driven by an external pulse. Now let's see how to set up the timer. First, let's use the timer to generate a delay function. So if you remember, we had written randomly, we were calculating from 1 to 1, 0 to 1 lakh, 0 to 10,000, and we were trying to generate it. This time, based on the clock frequency, let's set up a timer that you will get the correct delay. So if you come down, so this is a timer block diagram. So this is the source select or clock select. So you can either it can be clocked from an external pin or an internal oscillator. So in our case, let's assume we have set an oscillator to, I think we set it to 16 megahertz. So 16 megahertz divided by 4, that is a instruction cycle. 4 clock cycle is 1 instruction cycle in peak. So here 16 divided by 4 is again 4 megahertz clock you will get, and there is a programmable prescaler. So a prescaler or a postscaler is something which will divide the clock. I'll tell you what this is. And there is a sync with external clock. You can sync it with the system clock. Not required, you can deactivate it. And this is the timer 1 register. So this is the register which counts from 0 to 255, and when it overflows, it will generate an interrupt. So in this code, we will also see how we can catch an interrupt. Okay, this interrupt is called as timer 0. IF is interrupt flag. That is how you should read it. In this controller, this prescaler is also used with watchdog timer. Let's use it with timer 0 in our application. So these are the register associated with timer 0. So when you are writing code for any particular module, this is where you have to start off. You should see what are the registers that are associated with for the operation of this timer. Timer 0 register. This is the actual register which is going to, this is this register which I was talking about. This is the one which is going to increment from 0 to 255. Then intcon. So this can be interpreted this can be interpreted as interrupt controller. So GI is global interrupt enable. This is timer 0 interrupt enable and timer 0 interrupt flag. So basically what it means is this, when I told you this interrupt is set, this timer 0 interrupt flag, this is the one which we have to, in the hardware register will be set. So if this register is set, it means it has overflown. Timer 0 interrupt enable and GI. I will tell you the interrupt when I start writing the interrupt. For this, now let's just set up the timer and catch this in and directly poll for this interrupt flag. So what is polling, I'll tell you. And this is a option register. So let's see what is T0CS. Let me search for it. So I search for what this is. So this is the timer mode is selected by clearing the T0 CS bit. Or else what if you set this bit, it will work as a counter, means it will take the pulses on this RA4 pin and it will increment this register. So that is that. Then timer 0 SE. SE is timer 0 source edge select bit. So basically what it means is which edge you want the counter to increments. For example, every pulse or an external pulse, there is a rising edge and a falling edge. Here also there is a rising edge and falling edge. During which edge do you want the timer to increment? In this case, it doesn't matter, but when it comes to when you are counting the external pulses, then it matters at which edge you want the interrupt to be generated. And this is the prescaler. Prescaler, as I told you, will divide the clock frequency. So whatever frequency is coming here, the prescaler will divide the clock. Okay, basically what it means is, let me do it in Excel. So this has 3 registers, and if you read through what they are telling is, you can divide the clock. See, clear PSA, that is there is another register here, PSA. If you clear it, that is PSA, will assign this prescaler to the timer 0. So we'll have to clear it. We are going to use the prescaler to assign it to timer 0, and these 3 registers decide what is the factor of division. 0, 0, 0. This is the lowest bit, that is PS0. If this is PS0, PS1, PS2. So the division factor will depend on. So this is divide by 2. Then if it is like, okay, if you set this, it will be divided by 4. Here 8, 16, 32, 64, 128 and 256. Basically what it means here is, so let me take this, so let me redraw this section. So I've just quickly copied this block diagram here. So basically what prescaler means here is, it will divide this clock, which is already, your frequency is 16 megahertz, which is already divided by 4. Okay, now this is the instruction cycle which comes into the prescaler. So if you set the prescaler to 2, what it means is, every 2 pulses here you will get 1 pulse here. If you set it to 4, every 4 pulse here you will get 1 pulse here. Similarly, if you set 256 as a prescaler, sorry, if you set 256 as a prescaler, then for every 256 pulses you will get 1 pulse here. So basically what you are doing here is, you are reducing the frequency of the clock. Now this, once so many pulses come, now this will start incremented. So if you have select 256 as a prescaler here, so every 256 oscillations at this point, again this is into 4, this will increment by 1. So this will slowly grow 1, 2, 3, 4, it will chain like that, and when this becomes 255, this interrupt flag will be generated. So now what we have to do is, we have to select a prescaler value so that we get interrupt as per our desire. So how I basically do here is, I will generally write a delay routine for a 1 millisecond and call it multiple times. If you want 1 second delay, you call it 1000 times, so that you will have a good resolution, because we don't know how many milliseconds we are going to use. It can be 50 milliseconds delay which you wanted to call, or 100. So I'll write a function where you pass the millisecond delay you want, and it will hold the processor for so many milliseconds. So now let's see how we can set it up for 1 millisecond. Let me open Excel and let's do it there. Okay, now we have clock that we have set to 16 mega, e to the power of 6. Then this instruction cycle gets divided by 4. is equal to this divided by 4 and prescaler. So this minimum is 2. Okay, basically what happens is here it again gets divided by 2. Then there is our register itself that has to increment from 0 to 255. That has 256. So again this gets divided by this. So now what you have done here is the 16 megahertz clock you have divided and it has become a 7.81 kilohertz clock. So now let's see what is the time for that. So period is 1 divided by frequency, it is equal to 1 divided by the frequency. So it is in 1. So let me format this to see properly. I'll go to numbers and I'll increase the decimal places. So it is so much seconds. So like if I want it in millisecond, so I have to just multiply it by 1000. So let me format this also. Okay, so basically every 0.128 millisecond I am getting an interrupt flag. Okay, so divide. This is going to increment from 0 to 255 and then generate the interrupt flag. So this interrupt flag is generated every 1.28, sorry, every 0.128 millisecond. So but I want every 1 millisecond. So I have to slow it down a bit. So I will increase the speed scaler to 4. Now every 0.2 millisecond, 8.5 millisecond. Then next is 16. I get 1.02 millisecond. So next is 32 every 2 millisecond. So 8 is giving me 0.15 and 16 is giving me 1.02. So it is in between these two values that I want. So here I can do something else. So I earlier told you that this increments from 0 to 255 and then rolls over to 0. So what we can do here is, instead of rolling, when it rolls over to 0 and generates this interrupt flag, we can write 5 for example. Then what will happen, instead of starting from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and all, it will start from 5 and come to 255. Or you can start from 200 also and come to 255. So this way you can, number of steps the timer 0 will take, you can decide. In case of this, it will only take another 250 steps. In this case, it will take only 55 steps. So we can control this also. So instead of 256, what I can do here is, let me see, 250. Yeah. If this takes 250 steps to regenerate an interrupt, then I will get exactly 1 millisecond delay. This is exactly what I want. So what I'll do here is, as soon as I get the interrupt flag, or before starting this, I can write 5 into this register so that it starts from 5 and not from 0. Then I will get only 250 steps of increment. Okay, now let's do this experiment for a let's see, 100 millisecond delay. So I have to increase this to 32, that is giving 264 4. Let me see the maximum value, 256. I'll get only 16 millisecond delay. This is the maximum that it can do. So 100 millisecond is not possible in this. So I can get a maximum of, this is also, if I put it 250 second, 16.38 millisecond. Let's do it for 10. Let's start with 10. For 10, what do I need? If I go to 128, it is going below 8. So I have to keep this at 256, and I have to start reducing this. Let it me put 100 steps, no, 150, 160, 156, 157. Yeah, it is 156 or 157. One of these two I have to select. So let me take 156. So basically what it means is this has to, the timer 0 register was only has to take only 156 steps. So I have to do is equal to 255 minus, so it has to start from 99. So this register last time we started from 5, so now it has to start from 99 to 255. I'll ask, instead of 0 I will ask it to start from 99. Okay, hope you are able to follow that. So let's write the code for it. Let me set this as my main project. Okay, let me go to source file and header file. In source file we had delay.c, so let me write another function itself. Void delay millisecond and unsigned integer ui delay. So I generally write, instead of writing a variable simply as delay or something, I generally write what is the data type of this variable. So what happened, let's assume this is a global variable, and let's assume that this delay counter is there somewhere in the code I am using it. Like if there are hundreds of variables, then you will not know what is the data type. So if I write like this, I will, anywhere in the code I will always know this is a unsigned integer. So this is a good practice to follow. So now let me set up the timer. First we have to turn on the timer. Let me see all the configuration bits that we have to set. So this does not have a timer on. I think this timer is always running. You cannot shut down this timer. So let us first configure this. It is option underscore register. So it is this register. Yeah, it is here. So it is the text spelling of that. Register dot cs. What was cs was cs. The timer mode is selected by clearing TOCS. So I have to clear this. T dot. Let me take this. Let me see what is the structure of option register. So I have to use this or this option register bits dot TOCS. I have to clear is equal to 0, and it's always better to comment what you are doing. So what we are doing here is timer mode. We are setting it up in the timer mode is selected by clearing TOCS. That is one. Then next in our list is T0 SE. SE is increment in which edge do you want to increment it. For us it doesn't matter. It is, so as I told you, in counter, if you want particular in which edge you want it to count, you can do it. For us it is okay. TO, this is for clock edge. Then the next register, next value is PSA, prescaler. Do you want to assign it to timer or watchdog time? This timer 0 or watchdog timer. clearing PSA will assign the prescaler to timer 0. PSA I have to clear. Timer 0. Then it is our prescaler bits. So 2 PS 0, 1, 2 we have to assign it to, I want 16. For 16 it was 0, 1, 1. PSA 2 is 0. PSA 2 is 0. So it is PS2, not PSA2. What I am doing here is, if you have not missed the first chapter, control and any of these registers you press, it will go to the where it has been defined. From here it's easy to pick up what are the commands. PS2 is 0, then PS16 was 1, 1 is 1. To 16. And 0 is also 1. So now we have set up this. Now we have finished this. Now do you want this timer 0 interrupt? Interrupt is something after this quickly I will do what is an interrupt. So right now, let's not worry about it. And the default value is 0, so the interrupt is disabled. I'm setting up this delay for 1 millisecond, but my delay, I'm calling the function for x or x number of milliseconds. So what I'll do is I'll call this 1 millisecond delay x number of times. So if I want 100 millisecond delay, I will call this 1 millisecond delay which I'm configuring hundreds of times. So what I'll do is, for that I'll use a for loop. Unsigning UI is equal to 0 less than UI delay. So what I'll do here is, so if you come back to our design sheet, I want this timer to increment only 250 times. So I have to start it from 5. So if I start from 0, it will count 255 increments. I want only 250 increments. So what I'll do here is TMR0 is equal to 5. So from 5 it will start counting. So I'll clear the interrupt flag and start counting from 5 to 255. So once it crosses 255 and goes to 0, interrupt flag is internally set. So if I have to keep checking what is the interrupt flag status. If the interrupt flag has been set, it means it has overflown. So for that, what I have to do here is I have to first go intcon. Let me see, intcon. So I'm not going to use intcon because then I have to set all the other registers. If you go to the structure of that one, basically what I'm doing here is, to come to this one, I'm just control and clicking on this. So it will go to the internal file where all of this has been defined. Here I'm going to select this, and not this. If I select this, I have to set all the remaining things also. If I'm able to use this structure, then I can select whatever I want exactly. I will do dot interrupt flag is equal to 0. So I've cleared the flag. Now I've asked So this is a counter which is always running. So it might be whatever value I will set it to 5, it will start incrementing from 5. So I have to wait till this is set. While it is 0, then it has not been set, so I have to wait, and I will clear watchdog timer to make sure that during this wait my processor is not reset by the watchdog timer. So let me put a prototype in .h file also, delay.h, it is here, and let me use this delay in the main. So just to recap here, before I start using the code, I will clear the interrupt flag, set it to 5 so that it start incrementing 5, and I'll wait for this to go 1. So it goes to 1 minute, it has overflown 1. So as per our configuration, it has 1 millisecond has been exhausted. So if I come to main, let me comment this. Control and forward slash will comment it. Let me take one of these LEDs, write the delay millisecond, it go 500. LED off. So let me build this and see. Oh, I'm seeing a lot of errors. Let me see. Always come to the first one. Error. End if without if in iomap.h. I think some got edited somehow. If not, define. We clear it and build it once. Yeah, seems to be fine now. I forgot on the while one loop. And the clear watchdog timer. Okay, let me start the simulation here. My breakpoint is it has to stop here. So let me put a breakpoint here. Yeah, it seems to be working. So let me calculate the timing in Proteus. New project. In Proteus, I'm not able to save it because the demo version. So every time I have to redo the circuit. PIC16F84A. So I'll use one for MCLR and two for the LEDs. Terminal ground. This time let me not connect the crystal and see what happens. Last chapter we had seen that the crystal we are not connecting. We are connecting was not the one which was driving the clock. It was the one, I'll show you. Okay, this crystal was the one which was driving the clock. So let me select this code. This is the path for the hex file. MHz. Okay, let me start the simulation now. And this frequency. So let's put a scope and find out. Place virtual instrument scope. Let me connect to and start it. So let me keep the timing to 0.5 or 1 second, 1 millisecond, 100 millisecond, and channel weight to DC. So check out the scope chapter if you don't understand how this works. I made a chapter on how to use a scope. So in that one I've shown you what are all this controls and how to use the scope as we want it. So here now the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into 100 milliseconds is around 500 milliseconds. Hope you are able to see that. Okay, now we have got the timer to work as per our design. So now let's quickly check out what we have done. So what we have done here is we have set up the timer here, this and this, so that we get an interrupt every 1 millisecond, and the function is written such that if you want 500 millisecond delay, I will call this setup 500 times so that I get the required delay. So I have not used any interrupt. So let me show you how to write the interrupt for this. So before this, let me explain what an interrupt is. So till now what we are doing, we always had a while one loop, and there are multiple function and statements which we are writing now. So the program flow is, it will get inside the while one loop, it will function 1, whatever the function 1 it will do that, then exit back, then it will do function 2, get into this function, exit back after once it is complete, and whatever the statement it will continue doing that and come back. So the program flow is always under our control. It did not jump to any function automatically. But in case of interrupt, what will happen is, let's assume there is a function that is under interrupt. There is an interrupt function. So as soon as the interrupt happens, wherever, either here or inside this function, or wherever the program counter is, program execution is happening, it will automatically jump to the interrupt function, and whatever the code is written here, it will execute that and come back. So this is how an interrupt will work. Irrespective of whatever you are doing in your code, as soon as the interrupt happens, it will jump. Let's assume the interrupt happens, it will jump into the interrupt function here, and whatever the code is written in the interrupt function, it will execute and jump back from where it had left. So now let's see how to write an interrupt function. So if you write a timer 1 interrupt function, is you keep continuing doing whatever you want to do. As soon as the timer 0 interrupt happens, it will automatically jump from stop whatever you are executing, jump into the timer 0 interrupt function, do whatever is written and jump back. So this is the basic principle of a interrupt function. So now let's write the, now let's see how to write a interrupt function. mplab. So we have to, so it is a function with a certain keywords. To know what is that keywords, you have to go and check the compiler document. So our compiler is XE8, so we have to go and see the XE8 documents. Let me go to mplag XE compiler, view downloads, compiler, in the documentation, user guide for PIC microcontroller. So let's see how to write an interrupt function. If you go through this, it is here. So interrupts. So before that there is function. So this file will have all the information that you need about the compiler. For interrupts, let's see an example and take it up. You can go through the whole thing and understand or see whatever is written there. I just go to the examples and pick up one of the interrupts. So let me pick up this interrupt. Oh, anyway, they have also written for timer 0 only. So let me pick up this interrupt. So this will be a standard definition. Let me just compile and see if it shows any error. Showing ignoring high priority using. If you don't want any priority, this should be it. Let's not worry about priority right now and just build it and see. Yeah, basically any interrupt which the controller is generating, it should come here. So now what we will do is let's set up the timer 0 which we are using to generate an interrupt. So let me go to delay.c. So let me initialize timer 0. Void initialize timer 0 for 1 millisecond. So I have to do everything that I had done here, the prescalers and everything that I was using. Then what I have to do here is I have to clear the interrupt flag. Now for interrupt, enabling the interrupt, let's go to the datasheet and see what we have to do. So timer 0, if you go here, so this was the interrupt control bit. So these are the 3 bits which are associated with this timer. So one is global interrupt enable. You have to enable all the global interrupts. If you disable this, you will not get any interrupt from any module. So we have to do on. So let me just quickly go and see what is the structure thing which I want. I press Control and clicked on it. So this is what I want. Dot GIE is equal to 1. That is enable global interrupt. Then next is, now I have to interrupt do one more thing, that is timer 0. Now I have enabled global interrupt. So any interrupts that will come will come to the our ISR function. Now I also enable the timer 0 interrupt. Else, if this timer 0 interrupt happens, it will not generate the interrupt. So I have to also see this dot timer 0 interrupt enable is equal to 1, that is enable timer 0 interrupt. So let me put this also here. So let me start from 5. So now as soon as I initialize the timer, it should generate interrupt every 1 millisecond. Basically I have to call this in main to initialize the timer. So I have to create a function for prototype for this, else it will not know. So it was in delay dot c where I've written the function, or to prototype in delay dot h. Then I've called this, so it should come here. So here what we have to do now, what we know here is any interrupt happens, it will come here, but I still don't know from what is the source of the interrupt. So what we generally do here is, if that is our if the timer 0 interrupt is enabled and the interrupt has come from timer 0 interrupt flag is equal to 1, then I know it is a timer interrupt. So basically it has overflown from 255 to 0 and it generated an interrupt. So when this happens, what I have to do here is I have to again write timer 0 to 5. So as soon as the interrupt happens, I will write timer 0 is equal to 5. So it will start counting from 5 to 255, again do the same thing. So now let's so here let me remove all these delays, or else this delay itself also will try to manipulate the timer functionality. So now I have a code like this. So let me build it once. So it has been built. So there is no error. So the delay, it's been not been used. Incomplete prototype. I don't know what that means. Let me just type. So I have to write one more void here inside. Delay.h, one more void here. Let me build once again. That error should have been, yeah, it has gone. Never called is not a, it's just a warning, so let's not worry about it. So here let me put a breakpoint here and see if I will get an interrupt. So let me start the simulator. So basically every millisecond it has to come and come here. It has come here. Let me run again. It is coming here frequently. So every millisecond, 1 millisecond, it is generating this interrupt. Okay, now I hope you understood. So we never called this function anywhere. So our code was only here. So once I come here, now I have to do one more thing. I have to clear this flag also. So this flag will always be set is equal to 0. Let me simulate this once again. Permission denied. So let me just browse my Dropbox. So always keep an eye if there is any warning or error here. So it has come here. So it will keep coming because I put a breakpoint here. It is coming here. So I'll remove the breakpoint here. So every 1 millisecond it should come here. See, every 1 millisecond it is coming there. Okay, now how to make use of this one for the delay. So what I'll generally do here is I don't generally write my delay like this, like how we wrote here, because I'm using this timer only for this delay application. I cannot use this timer for anything else. So what I'll do here is I'll write an ISR, that is interrupt service routing, which comes every 1 millisecond, and using this I will implement the delay. Let me show you that. So for this, what I'll do here is let me have one variable here. So there is a, let me have extern assigned int UI delay counter. So in delay.c I will have this also. Counter is equal to 0. So now let me, I'll just write this code here and I'll explain you why I'm writing this. Greater than 0. Okay, if this delay counter is greater than 0, it will reduce and it will come back to 0. So this will be decremented every 1 millisecond till it hits 0. So now in my delay dot c, here what I will do here is I will delay counter is equal to millisecond delay. So I will load this delay counter to, let's say 100 millisecond, 100 millisecond, 100 will go here. Then I will wait till this delay millisecond not equal to 0. So I'll explain you. Let's assume I'm calling a 100 millisecond delay. What I'll do here is this 100 millisecond I will write into this global variable, that is UI delay counter. So in my main, this interrupt keeps happening every 1 millisecond. So every time this interrupt happens, this 100 will start reducing 99, because 99 is greater than 0, it will reduce 98, 97 till it becomes 0. So after 100 milliseconds, this variable will become 0. And I'll wait till this variable becomes 0. So not equal to 0 means it is something 99, 98. I will keep looping. When it becomes 0, it will exit this loop. So now let's see how this logic works. So let me delete this while 1. I'll just toggle both the LEDs. Let me toggle both red and blue. Delay millisecond 500. Let me turn off both of them. This. So let me compile and build this. So no errors. Let me go to Proteus. Proteus would have automatically reloaded that. So initially there is a fast blink. After that, $200 into 2.5. So if I put it to 100, it should be 5 divisions. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 divisions. So 500 millisecond delay. So I generally set up a timer in all my codes to generate an interrupt every 1 millisecond. Using this itself, I will do the delay. When you have some other code where you want something else to wait for a certain duration, you can use this logic. Use this interrupt. So the next after this, after a couple of classes, I'll be doing something called a state machine approach. So during that time, it will be clear to you. So why I set up like this. So and also what we should do here is, don't write all your ISR code here. So what we can do here is we can declare a function in delay.c called as void delay ISR and void, let me prototype this, And here what I'll do here is whatever code I had written, let me copy this, go to main, I will write I'll call the function here, and whatever I'm doing here I will do it in delay dot CISR. This is to just keep the code neat, not that you have to do a function and all these things here itself. So only thing is the code here will be neat. Okay, so now this should also work. Let me build it once. There is no error, and Proteus should also. So let me change the delay to, let's say 1000 or 100 millisecond. I built it. So if I run Proteus now, so it is 100 1 division, so 100 millisecond delay. So that's how you configure a timer and set up the ISR. Yeah, the manual way of setting up seems to be a bit longer and taking a lot of, but it is very important that you understand this. Okay, now let's see how we can do it with Microchip code configure. So let me set this as a main project now. So if I then go here, it had, let me launch this MCC. Let me close all these files for the PIC16 of 84 projects. If you come to project, let's open the source files here. Header file, this delay is something which we had written last time. The delay is smaller. Now let's write the delay how we had written in the PIC84, but only thing is we'll use the code configure. So if you come to code configure, it will show timers. Yeah, it's showing timers, and this seems to have a lot of timer. It has 6 timers, so let's use timer 0. So we want for 1 millisecond. So it's showing with this current setting it is 2.56 milliseconds. So prescaler 1:2, and let's also enable the timer interrupt. Clock source is frequency oscillation divided by 4. Timer mode, this has both 8-bit and 16-bit mode. In 16-bit mode you will get much higher time also and better resolution also. So let's go for 8-bit itself. Prescaler 1:10. There is prescaler and postscaler in this. In postscaler, so let me open up the datasheet and show you. So here let me go to timers. Yeah, timer 0 module. So if you go to the block diagram, this has prescaler and postscaler. So there are 2 points where you can reduce the frequency. So in the earlier case it had only prescaler. Now we also have postscaler. So now if you go here, so we want 1 millisecond delay. Actual period is 64 microseconds. So I want 1 millisecond. Let me go 128, 2.56. So 64 is 2, 32 is 1.024 millisecond. Again, we have to use the timer. We have to play with the timer register as we had done last time to correct this. So let's generate the code. So it has generated all the code. Let's go to project view and code generated files. If you open up .c and .h. So let's see .c first. So it has created timer 0.c. See here it has set up all the timers. So let me just see in which mode we have set it. It's an 8-bit mode or 32-bit mode. So timer mode is 8-bit mode. Okay. So let's go back to our project, and if you come to the registers, so let's see it has T0 con 0. count 0, it has done 80. 80 is, let me open the calculator, 0x 80. X, it we have done 80. So in binary it will be 100000. So basically it has set only this T0 enable. So post scalar it has kept it 1:1. So that is exactly what we did it in here. Post scalar 1:1. Okay, now let's see what it has done. Higher value it has set to FF and lower value it has set to 00. So from here it starts counting. Okay, then timer 0 interrupt flag it has cleared, interrupt enable it has done, and interrupt handle it has returned, and it is enabling. Timer 0 start, timer 0 stop, read timer, write timer. So in case you want to write how we wrote 5, you just call this function and pass 5, or you can directly write into this value also. And the timer 0 ISR is here. So add your timer 0 interrupt code. This is the point where you have to add your code. So make sure that you don't add anywhere else. Okay, now so we did lot of things. All these things we had manually configured it there. Now it is doing it here. So first thing what I'll do here is, so interrupt clear also they have only done. So I don't even have to do the interrupt clear. So let me open our old code so that we have that as a reference in source code and delay.c. ISR, only thing is I have to write 5. If you write 5, so I cannot write 5 because I think I have configured this for 20 megahertz or 32 megahertz. So I have to recalculate the whole thing in Excel. Let me just copy this, and my frequency here, what we have set up is, if you go to code configure, we had set it up to 32 megahertz. So this is not 6 anymore, 16, it is 32 megahertz. Then our prescaler was, if you come to our 32, 1:32. So I am dividing by 32 here. And post scalar, so this also has a post scalar which I kept it to 1, and this is going to 255. So this is how I've got 1.02. So this is exactly 1.024 millisecond. So there is post scalar also here. Since we have set it to 1, the post scalar is set to 1. I'm not using it, so the clock is not getting divided. So now to get exactly 1, let me see, if I put 250, yeah, if I put exactly 250, this is also becoming 1 millisecond. So I have to count. So only thing that I have to do here is I have to set this timer 0 L to write timer to 5, so that I get 1 millisecond delay. So now let's go back to our folder and delay.c. So what we had initialized, we don't even have to initialize because this would have initialized this. I have to just copy from the older project. So this is the older project, delay.c. I will just copy the timer, these two functions, delay millisecond and delay ISR. And put it in the new project, that is delay.c, delay millisecond, and let me prototype this in delay.h also. Delay.c, delay.h also. Let me prototype this. So, and the variable also unsigned in delay counter. Let me go to delay.c of this and use this variable, and in this delay.h Let me extern here. I can. So now I have done this. So in the ISR, so let me close off all these delays. It simply get confusing. And keep only delay.h of this and delay.c of this. So, and this ISR I have to call in. This I don't have to do because it's already been done there. This delay ISR, let me call it in this timer which the file has been generated. So now this will give an error because this doesn't know where this delay ISR is. So you have to come here and include those hash include delay dot h. Let me build this. Spelling delay dot file not found. Not sure why it is not able to find this one. I think it is because this timer is inside this. I have to go by a step back. Hash include delay dot. What's happening here is this timer dot c is inside this MCC generated file. So I have to go a step back and then call. I have to get out of this directory and then call delay.c. Hope that was clear. So let me build this. Small, never use, never use, never use, never use. That's okay. If you come to this main, so now what I can do here is I can just do delay millisecond 100 and delay millisecond 100. Okay, now this should work. So if you system initialize, the timer 0 initialize has already been called here. This is where I am setting up the timer and also interrupt enabling the timer 0 interrupt enable. So interrupt will be generated. So let's simulate here and see if this, at least this, if this is working here. I am getting the delay. Okay, let me start this. Here. Let me simulate here. It should come here and stop. So then now if I run, it should come below and stop. It is not stopping. Let me see why it is not stopping. So this is not getting 0. So if I put a breakpoint here, let's put a breakpoint in the ISR and see if this ISR is getting called. It has come here. It has not. The timer for some reason has not been set up. So let me see if I have not called any function. If I have not called any, I have timer 0 initialize has been called. I think we have not started the timer. So let's start the timer. Main. Let's start the timer before we get in. I think we have configured everything, but the timer has not been started. Let me build it and debug the project. Just come here. Still not generating the ISR. Stuck, getting stuck here. So let me watch this one. New watch. delay counter. Let me run this. So for some reason the interrupt is not being generated. So let me just check why it is not being generated. Everything seems to be set up properly. Let me see. Timer 0 initialize. Enable bit. They have enabled. I think they have not enabled the global interrupt. Yeah, I think let's enable the global interrupt. So before that, let's go through the data sheet and find out what are the registers associated with. So if you come down in the last, you can see all the registers at one. So intcon, yeah, they have to. So in intcon, I have to enable global interrupt, and this also has something called as peripheral interrupt. Both these things we have to enable. So intcon. So let's just enable that. Control and mouse click on this. It will take here. I'll select this. I don't want to this. I don't want to set here because I have to set all the remaining things also. So if I go to this structured definition, then I can set individual bits. Dot global interrupt enable is equal to 1 and then we know the peripheral interrupt enable. Dot peripheral this PEIE yeah, PEIE is equal to 1. So next, these things they have already enabled in timer. That is a timer 0 interrupt enable bit. So let's start now. So hopefully we should hit our breakpoint in the ISR. So let's see. So let's start the code. Seems to be working. So let's it's coming. Earlier what was happening, it was getting stuck. This delay was not getting executed. If I come here and put the breakpoint in the ISR routing, timer 0 ISR, callback, and here. So let's see if this comes. See, it is coming to the ISR every 1 millisecond. I cannot show you the timing here because I'm not able to simulate this, but the code seems to work. So we have to enable the global interrupt. Rest of all the interrupt associated with the timer, it has already been done. I think this timer data start also is not required. They have started in the ISR itself. Yeah, the timer 0 also have been set up by the MCC. So this is how we write the ISR, that is interrupt service routing for timer 0 using code configure. Hope you are able to follow that. So next we will do with Renesas. Okay, now let's see how we can use the timers in Renesas. So for that, in Renesas, as we have been doing, we'll only use the code generator. Let's go to code generator, timers. So this has about 7 timers in it. So let's use the first timer. We'll use it an interval timer. Basically, for a particular interval, it will generate the interrupt. So let's set it up for 1 millisecond. How we set it up for microchip? Then generate code. So if you now see here, there is timer.c and timer user and timer.h. These three will be created by the code generator. Okay, now let's go to timer.c. If you see, there is a function to start the timer and there is a function to stop the timer. Let's write a timer for 1 millisecond and call it repeatedly. So if you go here, delay, we have, let's write that function, void delay millisecond and unsigned character UC time in millisecond. This is a function. So let me prototype this. So as I described, I always write the data type before writing the variable so that any point in the code I will know what is the data type. should be int int, not character. Character because it can only go to 255. Int can go up till, unsigned int can go up to 2 to the power of 16 minus 1. That's how close to 2 to the power of 16 minus 1. So it can go up till this value. So make sure that it doesn't exceed this. If you write 70,000 or something, it will never hit that value. Okay, now we have this. Let me prototype this function, delay.h. This is the prototype. So basically I'm going to write a timer for every 1 millisecond and call it repeatedly. If I go to delay.c, yeah, what we can do here is we have to start the timer. Basically that is what we have to do. Then wait for interrupt, stop the timer. So this is what we have to do. So let's start the timer. So before that, if you go to timer user, this is where they're expecting the user to write the code. So there will be an interrupt function. If you see this interrupt, so every time, every 1 millisecond, it will come to this function will be called automatically. So I had explained in the microchip, interrupt is basically in your code, the code goes like in sequence. It will come here, finish this, and keep on going like this. It does not randomly jump into any other function unless it is called. But interrupt is, if there is an interrupt, what happens? Let's assume that it did LED on and then the interrupt came. Then what will happen is the processor will automatically jump into this function, execute this, and come back and do this. Okay, so that is the difference between an interrupt. It will be automatically called by the processor. You don't have to call it. So in our case, we are setting up a timer interrupt. So this interrupt will be called every 1 millisecond. That is what we have set it up for. So to check this flag, let's create a flag. Let's name it in delay.c. You can name it unsigned character UC flag timer 0 interrupt is equal to 0. Let's initially let it be 0. So I have to in H also I have to use it, telling that it is an extern and I cannot assign a value in H. So here I will set this flag in the timer is equal to 1. So every 1 millisecond, what basically will happen is this flag will be set. I could have used a boolean, but I'm just using an unsigned character. So this variable will become 1 every 1 millisecond. So I have to make this 0 and wait for this to become 1. So if I go back to delay.c, I have to start the timer. Starting the timer is in timer user, timer.c. I'll start the timer. So they have done the configuration so that the timer will generate 1 interrupt every millisecond. So if you remember in PIC, we had to go through all the data sheet in the first example. In the second example, the MCC itself did it. Here the code generator has done it. So I have to start the timer. And before that, what I'll do here is I will clear the flag. So this flag which I will timer user the delay. I will clear the flag. I'll start the timer. Then I will wait for. I have to clear it. Is equal to 0. Till it is 0. I will wait here. So when the interrupt happens every millisecond, it will be set to 1 in our timer user, it will be set to 1 here. So I have to wait for this to happen. So I will make sure that I clear the watchdog timer, because if I give a 100 second delay, the watchdog timer in this case is resetting every 4 seconds, 4300 seconds. So if I give a delay more than this, then the watchdog timer will reset. So I'll make sure that I'm resetting the watchdog timer. Then what I will do here is I will stop the timer. That is there again in timer.c, stop timer. So now this does not know where this function is, so I have not called it here. So if you see, if you go to main, the IDE itself would have added timer.h. You have to add this timer.h in our delay.c. Let me build. So this timer user does not know where it is. We have done it in delay.h. You have to point everything where that variable is declared, where the function is. So now it knows that. So basically now let's go to our main code. Let me comment this. Comment line. Alright. Millisecond 500. Before that, timer user delay.c. So the whole thing I have to do for so many milliseconds. So this is giving me 1 millisecond. Okay. Interrupt is equal to 0. I will not turn on the timer repeatedly. I will just clear the flag and wait for it to be set. Let me do it here. For here I cannot declare it in the for loop. I have to declare it before the function. UI counter is equal to 0. Counter is equal to 0 to time counter less than this. So I am running. I'll clear the flag. I've started the timer. I'll clear the flag. After 1 millisecond, the flag will be set. Till then, it will wait here, come out, and I'll continue this for example, if I pass 100 millisecond for 100 times. So I'll get 100 millisecond delay. Okay. So now let me go to main, and I've done this. Let's now build this and see if there's an error. Seems to be an error. Delay millisecond 500. Okay, I have to add delay.h here. Yeah, because this is there in delay.h, I have to point the IDE telling that my delay is there, else it will not recognize this function. Okay, let me start the simulator. I have selected RL78 simulator. So let's see if it comes here and here. So in both the cases I have written LED on, so you should not see any difference. Does not seem to, yeah, it has come down, but it seems to have taken a lot of time. So let me make it off here. me rebuild it. Let me start again. Seems to be taking a long time. Either my software is running slowly or there is an error. Here also it is not measuring time. Let's just cross check if my code is correct. If I go to timers, every 1 millisecond it generates a. Then in my timer function, in my delay function, I have written delay.c. I'm starting. Seems to be okay. Let me show you what's happening here. I come here, has come. I put a watch for this variable. You can see it should be slowly incrementing from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It goes up till this time. This past is 500. So for 500 milliseconds, it will continue to be stuck in this loop. After that, it will come out. So there is a clock measurement here in the bottom right. It's telling currently not measured. For some reason, I feel it is running slower. To enable this, what you can do here is you can click on this. Once you click on this, timer is on, it will show what is the measured time between breakpoints. So now let's run. Okay, it's 500 milliseconds. That's exactly what we have given. I think my computer is a bit slow, so the simulator is taking a lot of time. And you can also see that it is toggling here, P1. This is also 500 milliseconds delay. Okay, now that's fine. But as I showed you in PIC, this is generally I don't write a delay like this. What I like to do here is I generally have a free running timer. For example, I'll keep this timer running always so that I can use this timer for other applications also. So what I'll do here is so now what I'm doing is every time when I want the delay, I'm starting and stopping. But let's assume that there is a lot of functions which need a timer option. Then it is always better to have a free running timer in the code. So let me delete this, cut that and paste it in my main function. So where I've done after IO map, I'll start the timer. So now basically my timer is always running. It will never stop. Now I'll use this timer which is always running to get my delay. So for that, what I'll do is I'll go here. I'll declare a variable unsigned int ui millisecond counter is equal to 0. I have to put this in .h also. And as usual, extern this. I cannot assign any value here. So what I'll do here in the timer, I'll no longer use this. If this timer counter is greater than 0, I will reduce it. Basically, what I'm doing here is if I have set this timer value to any particular value, every millisecond this timer value will reduce itself and it comes down to 0 and stops there. And basically what happens, let's assume it has come to 0 and you do a minus. If it is an 8-bit timer, it will go back to 255. So at 255 you increment it more, it becomes 0. So it will roll over. It's not like it will go to -1, -2, -3 because it's an unsigned integer. Similarly, once it exceeds 65,535, it will become 0 again. Okay, so that is the reason I have this counter. If it is greater than 0, it will reduce. Or else what will happen is if I only using this statement, it will come to 0 and go back to 65,000, that value. So now this counter is always, anything I've set it to any value, it will come to 0 and stop, and every decrement happens 1 millisecond. So in my delay.c, what I'll do here is I'll not use all of this. I'll use that millisecond counter which I have declared. I don't need this also. I'll put it to, I'll put your password. For example, if you have given 500 millisecond delay, I will put it to UI millisecond counter, which is being decremented in the interrupt and not equal to 0. So basically, if I have set it to 500, it will call the interrupt function and decrement it. And after some time, 500 millisecond exactly, it will become 0, and that time I will exit this loop. So my program execution is held in this loop for 500 milliseconds. So now let's see if this logic works. Let me tell you 1 second. So when I pass millisecond delay 500, I am loading 500 into this UI millisecond counter. In the timer interrupt, if this value is greater than 0, if 500 is greater than 0, it will become 499 then next interrupt after 498. So every millisecond it will decrement by 1 till hits 0. Once it hits 0, this condition is no more satisfied. 0 is not equal to 0, not greater than 0. So whatever value I have set, after that millisecond it will become 0, which I am trying to catch here. So if I pass 500, after 500 millisecond it will become 0 and I can leave this function. Till that time my processor is held in this loop. Ideally you are not supposed to write anything in your any delay function in your code, because you are simply wasting the processor speed. So I will explain you how to write that in a state machine approach. So after in the next class I will teach you what is a state machine approach. That is one thing which you have to learn very early, because I've seen a lot of programmers, they don't know how to write a state machine. They simply write delays everywhere and the whole process get delayed and it's a messy thing. Once you write a state machine approach, you can do a lot of things parallelly. Okay, it has started. Now the same code should run. So let's see. 500 millisecond delay. Again 500 millisecond delay. So I'm getting 500 millisecond delay. So that's how to use a timer with Renesas. Hope you are able to follow that.